Y'all,
Oh, we did it.
happy Saturday night.
You
Jason
can't-
Reeves here.
You can't see it, but I'm
You're
hitting the
doing-
glass against my monitor.
You gotta get yourself a camera, Mike. A camera.
Well, I got you guys to pay headphones for me, so you should.
That's
Yeah,
it. Christmas is coming up. We're getting you a camera for Christmas. We're doing it.
You
All
see,
right.
I'm in it for the long game.
We're here to talk about the Data Frog SF2000, and if that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will. So, but normally the three of us and one more hang out, and we usually watch Star Trek. We've been friends for, I don't know, but Michael, you and I've been friends since pre-kindergarten, so like 33 years. David is
Where's
David.
Dave?
He was here. He was there. He was
was
there.
camping.
David.
He took
He's
his
in the
child
woods somewhere.
camping. His
Uh,
infant camping.
That's the stupidest thing. I mean,
Hey,
He's-
each
he's-
their own.
He's a
He's there.
masochist.
I think it's great. Like, I'm saying it's stupid because I couldn't do it. I would
No,
get stressed out
I'd
with
never.
multiple kids in the middle
I
of
don't want to go camping with adults, much less children,
You don't want to go camping, period.
at all.
Yeah. But anyway, normally he's with us. But anyway, I'm out here in Seattle, Washington. We've been friends forever. I'm Jason. I'll be showing off some of the stuff I've been doing with Tadpole specifically, which is the tool that works with this guy. And then I brought my buddies along to kind of ask questions and keep it lighthearted.
Froggy, Tadpole, Froggy, Tadpole.
You got
I
it.
see what they did.
Yeah,
I see what they did. That's good.
the icons too. There's a lot of community like excited about trying to like come up with fun names and fun themes and stuff that are like frog related. So yeah, Tadpole.
That's cool. It's
You got
fun. My name's Jared Murray. I'm Jason and Mike's and David, if he were here, best friend. I'm a longtime actor. I do video stuff, and I'm excited to hear what Jason's got to say. This is like what Jason's been doing every night after we hang out. It's like, I got to go code for this thing. I was like, okay.
Instead of playing video games, I've been doing this. So
And you can't see my ugly mug, but I'm Mike Houston. I'm Jason, Jared, and David, if he were here.
He's that one.
I have a severe iron deficiency. I work on cool space things that spin around and move in a linear fashion, and I also enjoy a lot of alcohol.
As we all do.
Welcome to the show.
right, you'll be drinking well. So the rule is, if anything goes wrong while I'm doing demos, like if the app crashes or something happens, you got to take a shot.
A
So-
shot?
Oh,
I'll take
You better-
a drink.
Okay.
I'll take a drink.
Okay. Drinks, but a shot if I can't fix it. If it's like, all right, guys, I can't figure this out. We just got to move on. Then you just have to take a shot. And
It
move on.
would crash entirely.
how much faith do we
Mike-
have in?
Michael's got to take mine. Transitive property. Michael's got to take a shot for me.
That's not what
Michael's
the
drinking
transitive
for the both
property
of us.
means, but sure.
Oh.
All right.
That's
So
exactly
tell us
what it
about this thing, the beast.
All right, let me screen share and show you kind of a little bit of stuff around here. I'm also gonna.
Oh, we call Jason the beast. Everybody's like, who's the beast? Jason's the beast. If you hear the beast.
He is a beast in
He is
more
a
ways
beast.
than one.
I had this.
There it is.
Set up pretty
I
nice.
like that it look. I like
looks
that it looks
like
like an SNES controller. Isn't that great?
It is
That's
great.
That's what draw like my. There we go. My eyes to it originally. There we go. That's pretty good.
You got it.
Right. But
and
because
then-
from your childhood, you've got so much experience with an SNES controller.
So, like the way I got to this was I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos. I think I either saw Retro Game Core or something else. But basically, like there is a whole world of these game consoles that are out there. Like some are like well known. Like the Steam Deck is really well known. Other versions of these, what they call retro consoles, like are modded versions of other systems, like 3DS. I think like PSP is going to be on here. And then there are a slew of these other devices, mainly from China, that tend to be between what the Frog is, which is like, $10, $15, all the way up to like $200-$300. So it's a huge range. And so this guy and his team do amazing videos, lots of in-depth reviews and in-depth guides. And so I found my way over to this thing, which was the Data Frog SF2000. And I don't know anything about this specific. If you go on to AliExpress, you can like search for Data Frog SF2000. You'll get like hundreds of hits. There's all kinds of different stores. You could buy it from AliExpress or from Temu or from Amazon. I just literally clicked the first one. They typically range between like, $13 up to like $30. There's a couple different colors of this thing. But anyway, like what y'all said, what I really liked about it is it looked like an SNES controller. It was cheap, and it supposedly played quite a few of the emulators that we really like Nintendo and all the Game Boys, Super Nintendo, obviously, Sega Genesis. So it looked interesting. So I decided to buy it. What's also kind of cool is with these devices, there's a huge community behind them. A lot are over on Discord. In addition to like this Retro Game Core, which I think they have a channel in this Retro Handhelds Discord. Lots of people that give you lots of advice. There's channels like what do I buy, or like help me, I have problems. Or you can go to the specific device that you have, and you can get ask questions, get answers. And the community tends to try to build what they call CFW, custom firmware, because the software you'll see here in a second that comes with these devices don't tend to be very good. Like it's rough around the edges. They often include lots of ROMs, but like a lot of them may not be working and like may not be great. So the community tries to build custom firmware on top of it. That's a huge effort depending on like kind of the hardware that's on it. And then if you can't get custom firmware, sometimes you can still modify the software, which is essentially what we're doing with the Data Frog today. There is an effort to actually go do custom firmware where they're actually, that's funny. It's just like
That's what she said.
There was shrinkage.
Yeah, very mature here in the Data Frog channel.
Love the Data Frog channel already.
So yeah, the main one here has 2 sub-channels. So again, you can come in and ask any questions. The devs that are really working on that custom firmware are in here in the SF2000 dev channel. And then I'll talk a little bit about Tadpole in a second, but we have a channel for the Tadpole tool. All right, so that's how I got to it. I bought it, and then I started like looking around and learning stuff. Before I dive into Tadpole, what are like any high-level questions, guys?
Oh, you're like actually posting on the forum. Like your knees,
I'm there.
You're all the way in.
I'm all the way up. I'm deep in the
man.
So I've got I don't know if these are too high level or if it's actually high level or too specific or not. But so, like, what are these running on?
What type of hardware?
Yeah, what kind of hardware are these actually
so
running?
I'll point out here, and we'll put this in the YouTube channel. There's a really good GitHub that has a ton of answers specifically for the SF2000. Typically, these retro consoles, like we'll kind of look at them here, they tend to run on like a SoC, like a system on a chip. In other words, like it's all integrated into one board. There tends to be like 1 or 2 processors that are pretty well known that can like do most of the work here. Interestingly, in the case of the Data Frog, if I go over here, you can kind of go down and like look at the hardware. Like if we click something like the CPU, I think this is it a PIC? It's literally been like, this is funny, like people will actually crack it open and they'll try to figure it out so that they can go build the custom firmware. But it's a MIPS processor. But the community is like, it's interesting because the chips literally have like scuffed off what they are, which means they're probably like aftermarket or like, who knows how they got them.
That's interesting. That's so like there's this whole industry taking these trips and then basically reformatting them into supporting retro systems.
It's funny. I've seen some of these little retro systems like in the Walmart checkout line. You know how they'll like put them on the Walmart checkout line. And I always think, these can't be that good, right? But I mean,
those are also here on AliExpress. Like it's a whole like you can do like 501, right? And like these are the ones you'll see like at Walmart. I'm sure will pop. Like,
they look like little Game Boys. They look like the brick. Yeah.
Similar concept. Like they are like, again, system on a chip. They tend to not have like an SD card, which is what we'll see the Data Frog has and most of these have. In other words, it's whatever it is on there is what you get and you can't change it. Unless you really crack it open and then you like solder on some wires to where the main chip is.
So the cool thing about this is because of the mini SD, you can really influence what's going on.
Yep, exactly. That's true for all these like devices that you'll see on like Retro Game Core and like all the YouTube channels. All these devices have micro SD or similar ways to go and basically add and change things on them. So, which is pretty cool. Good question, Mike.
That's interesting that it says. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You can go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just gonna. No, you go ahead. Mine's unrelated.
No, it's interesting to me that it said literally had its markings milled off by a routing tool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're just stealing these chips from random places.
We don't know if they're stealing them or if they were stolen and then resold. But like the Data Frog especially, and like it's unfair to say like this is true of all these. There are some amazing brands. I'm not sponsored by anybody, by the way. No money from nobody.
Well, hey, I'm
for
not.
$12, don't ask too many questions.
Yeah, I don't really want.
Exactly.
Let's not get too deep into this.
I don't really want to get into the legality of any of this stuff.
Okay. But the other devices, the Mio Mini is one that's really well known. Argenic. These are well known brands that, Powkitty's another. They use supported processors that are well known. So like, it's not like all of these devices that you're seeing here on the screen are like shady. There's a lot of like really good ones. It just happens to be that the Data Frog, the SF2000 specifically, because Data Frog's made others, being, $10, $11, $12, $13, you're kind of getting what you pay for in some places. So
I was reading that this little guy struggles with the GBA SNES games, and those would probably be ones that I'd be like most interested in playing. Have you found that to be the case?
Yeah, so like what's really nice about this site too is like you can go in there and like learn a little bit about it and see like what's good, what isn't good. So like if we jump over to SNES, basically like the community is like reverse engineered to figure out which emulator it's running.
Is SNEX 9X is the emulator?
Yeah, it's pretty well known. Yeah, like they've literally pulled it. But there's FAQ questions. Here we go. SNES games run really slow. What's wrong? So they talk a little bit about it. The SNES has some pretty weird glitch where when you start it, the game runs really slow. What you need to do is quit. We'll look at it here in a second, and like restart, and you'll see the performance is a lot better. And there's some games that perform better than others, so it's like kind of a mixed bag. So this being like on the way lower end of the hardware devices, I'll turn the volume down on this, and we'll look at the music in a second. Like the other ones that were on that page, the Retro Game Core page, most of those are going to run SNES 5, and like it's kind of like once you start reading the reviews, like people talk about it like in these kind of like buckets of like 16-bit, 32-bit, 64-bit. Like we know those are like Nintendo 64. Was it Sega? Did Sega have one there? Dreamcast, right? And then like PlayStation was.
Sega had the 32X.
Yeah, but the Genesis was 16-bit, right?
Yes,
that's right. Yeah. So that would be like the SNES. So the Froggy is good at like NES and Game Boy Color, and then in the SNES it starts to struggle, and same with like the Game Boy Advance. And there's some tips and tricks. Like some of the emulators have this thing called a BIOS, which basically is like the software that helps recognize it as an official device, if you will. Like it's a little hard to explain, but some emulators have these requirements. PlayStation is pretty well known for it, and you have to download the BIOS file separately from the emulator. Like all the legality here is interesting.
It's true.
And the BIOS that's on the Data Frog that ships with it for Game Boy isn't like great, and there's a community fix that you'll see in Tadpole as well, that like it doesn't really help performance, but it actually helps compatibility, specifically like with games like the Minish Cap is one where like you launch it and it doesn't really like you can't get past the I think it's like the login screen or something where you type your name. So the BIOS though, you can update the BIOS of the GBA, and then you can play the Minish Cap. So like it's all these and mods and things to do and change, which is cool.
That will make some of that performance better.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. All right. So speaking of the device, is it here on camera and view okay?
It's tiny in the upper left corner
Yeah,
of
we
the
got it.
screen.
Upper left hand. There. Oh, there we go.
There it
That's
is.
all.
There it is. That's what we
Okay.
want.
So, and I don't know. Let me keep it centered. Let me go, stop.
You're a little
Yeah.
soft. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I'm trying to, I think this camera, not bad. We won't have to look at this a bunch, but like the software that ships on it is pretty basic. Basically, you can
Oh, nice.
up and down to go through the different consoles. Let me see if I turn. Does that help? No, that doesn't help.
No,
That makes it much
too
worse.
bright. Too much
Even worse.
contrast.
There's also there's no brightness controls on this device, which is also rough.
Although it looks pretty nice and bright.
Yeah, like the screen brightness is good, and like it's a 3-inch screen. I guess we'll talk hardware for a quick second. Like the actual controller, like it feels good. Like it fits well in the hands. Like the buttons themselves are really good. The D-pad feels pretty good.
Is it substantial? Feels like an SNES controller pretty well.
I don't have an SNES controller nearby. But it feels like the right size.
I do.
Okay.
But you can't see my.
Yeah, that doesn't
if you
help.
had a camera,
that would help us. But it does. It feels good. Again, thinking about the price range, like the D-pad's maybe not the best. Again, if you play with a lot of different consoles, Steam Deck. Oh, I guess this camera gets blurry all the time. For size comparison here, which I think y'all have seen the Steam Deck before. Like there's the beast, right? Like there's Steam Deck sitting on top there. Now, like the reason why I was kind of interested. Fixes it now. Stay in place.
So you were saying it fits into your back pocket.
Yeah,
like it's
exactly. Like
just...
I love the Steam Deck, and I love the Switch, but those are not like really simple, like to carry with you wherever you go. They fit back in backpacks, but this is nice because it can fit really nice into the pocket. I got a little PSP case, and so like this is nice because it's just like it's nice and just fits right in the pocket. But even then, like again, it's like I got it's $12.
Is it vibrating? Because it keeps moving.
No, I think that's
Or is it just sliding off the screen?
Yeah.
So for performance issues aside, for $12, whatever games you get out of it, it's worth
exactly.
it.
Yeah, it really is. Like like let's just say you're like, it's just good with Game Boy Color, and Nintendo. That's pretty good, and like you can add as many ROMs as you want. Another kind of cool feature is that it outputs to basically AV, and you can put it. There's a little thing, audio video out.
Oh, plug it into the TV.
Yeah, it even comes, and then you can buy like some of the packages. I have it upstairs, I think. Like they come with controllers, like wireless controllers. So I got a Data Frog plus 2 controllers for like $17. And the fact that you can play NES games and some SNES, like it's a pretty good deal. It's not perfect, but it's a pretty good deal. So especially when you look at other devices into like 10 to 15. Like if you go grab the Walmart one, like it's going to be 10, 15, $20, and it's not going to be anywhere near as good as.
Oh yeah.
The software, I know it's a little hard to see. I'll kind of show you this page in Tadpole in a second. And I thought about trying to get like the audio video out onto the computer screen, but like I just didn't get it all set up. But what's going on there is there's 4 games that are listed there. Let me hop over to switch to easy one like Game Boy here. And again, it's probably really hard to see, but there's basically 4 games there, and you can go left or right. And then when you're on the game you want, you can hit A, the purple button over here, and then it's starting.
Is that Link's Awakening?
It is Link's Awakening.
I love Link's Awakening.
You can press and hold on start and select, and then it comes up with like kind of basic emulator options to save, to load state, and then to quit, zoom.
Oh, that's cool.
States and all that good stuff. And again, what I'm showing here is literally the SD card that comes out of the box. So like when you get this shipped to you, you get the console, you get a 16 gigabyte SD card that's currently in there, you get a USB-C charger, and then you get that audio video cable, all included.
So this isn't the one. Wow. This isn't what you've been working on. This particular. No, this is just.
This is everything you see here is like what you get out of the box. Yeah, and you get you can press start. Oh, it's so hard to see. Sorry, we'll see it in the better theme in a second. Basically, that's a list of all the games, and they include, I think they advertise like 6,000 games. And so you literally can go in and like, once you see one you want, like go in and press A. Whoops, it's so hard to do backwards. Oh, it's so hard to see. Okay, and then start, and then like, you know, it's going to boot up every game that you have in there. Oh, it's so hard to see with the white screens. There we go, a little better. I have no idea what I clicked there. Audio is decent. Now it's kind of funny. Let me go out and quit, and then I'll also do the little trick on the camera because it looks fuzzy again. Now on the back, you'll see 2 speaker holes. Actually, when you open it up, there's actually only 1 speaker. I don't know if it's left or right.
No.
So there's not actually 2 speakers here, but just, you know, like, again, you never know. Did they build the case beforehand? Did they decide to cut some costs and not do a second speaker? You know, lots of questions. But the sound that comes out is actually pretty decent. And the fact that it's like coming out here, some of the consoles, like even like the Game Boy, I think it's the Game Boy original, right? Like you can kind of cover up sometimes the speakers with your fingers, and it's like kind of muffled. It's not like the greatest speaker in the world, but like it comes through pretty strong and pretty vibrant.
Is there a headphone jack?
So this one does not have a headphone jack. It's got that AV, which is not doing. I was gonna like launch something here, like what's pretty well known, Contra. Contra's probably pretty good. Oh no, we'll do Zelda. We'll get into those details a little bit, like those things. No, it doesn't, which would be really nice. So like, you know, again, a lot of other consoles are gonna have
Put in that Konami code.
Yeah,
Up, left. I don't even remember it.
Yeah, up, down. I don't know.
Up, down, left. I don't recall. Mike probably remembers it.
All things considered. Again, with Nintendo, Game Boy Color, all this is like pretty decent performance. Like you don't have any slowdowns. Everything works out pretty well. So I can't play backwards. I don't even know where my guy is. So.
You're winning, Jace. You're winning.
I'm doing it. I'm killing it in Contra. So obviously you can use the D-pad. You know, this little guy is kind of like a Nintendo Switch thumbstick, which isn't terrible. Which is good for some of the main games, like the arcade. For like fighting, supposed to be a little better. But I think most people are just using like classic games with the D-pad and the buttons. Yeah, so like that's, you know, when it shipped originally, which was like sometime at the start of the year, the firmware that you have on here is exactly what you see. There was a couple things, like there was some problems with the mappings of the emulators with the buttons that they tried to fix. There was also no way to like favorite or to like add your own ROMs very easily. And then they did do an update to the software, which I'll show you here in a second, as a way that you can update it right through the Tadpole program. But now in this screen, again, it's really hard to see, but there are basically folders for adding kind of your own. That's funny. I'm like, where are they? The firmware that I put on here just to like show how we do the upgrade doesn't have the things that I'll show here in a second, which is the like user favorites and like add your own ROMs. Basically, these little icons that are here, you can do that once you've upgraded the firmware. So again, real simple. You scroll up and down in the systems, you find the game you want. If these 4, you know, aren't the ones you want, you hit the start menu or hit the start button, and then you find the one you want in the list. And then you start playing, press and hold on start and select. And, you know, that'll get you your menu to do, you know, the emulator stuff, and you're off to the races. Now, any questions on like what you get out of the box?
I have a question that I'm not sure if it's applicable to this point in the discussion.
Okay.
What's the battery life like on this thing?
Oh, good question. So it's like what you get is about, I'd say 4 to 5 hours. Like, I think the reviews will be a little tighter, but like behind it is a battery compartment, which you don't have to have that little screw in there. It's got like a little bit of plastic, so you could leave it off. And it's a really like well-known rechargeable battery. I think they say it like comes from Nikon cameras. No, that doesn't sound right. There might be another one. But like I think it's 1800 milliamps. And you can get like, much bigger ones if you want. They pop right in. You get them from like $3 or $4 or $5.
So you can increase the battery life.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could definitely like get a beefier
cool.
one. And again, like that site here, like these are great questions, and they're
Oh,
like,
battery right there.
right there. So 18650 rechargeable battery, easily user replaceable, runs for about 4 hours. And again, like tons of like details here on like what the kids figured out, which is super cool.
Nice.
These are probably great for kids,
So
right?
yeah,
Like,
what a lot of people are doing is like they're buying a bunch of them, and then you'll see in a second, like there's hundreds of ROMs, and I'll show you like, I think it's too much, and no one's going to play all those. And it's better to like curate, the type of ROMs that you want. And so some people are kind of like changing the themes, simplifying it, putting some like basic, like Pokemon and all the basic ones, and making it really easy for kids to use. So that's what I think folks in the community are doing, which is kind of nice. Yep. What else before we dive in?
show us the beast.
All right, let's do it. So I'm going to turn it off. I've got a little checklist here to make sure. Okay, we talked about it. I've been showing the site that gives you lots of details. All right, so like, why do we have this tool, and why did Eric, who is the creator of Tadpole, like why did he build Tadpole, and then someone before him built this cool tool called Frog Tool? Like it's funny how all these things come about, but the real reasons are the theme that you see on there is a little goofy. Like it's a little not well put together, lots of weird colors, and the logos are not, they're more kind of a mishmash of things they found. So classically you want to be able to change the theme. That music that's running is a little much, for music. It'd be nice to either replace it or get rid of it if you don't want music in like when you boot it up. The little logo that starts is a little cheesy. I think you'll see it. It says welcome. And I'll show you the one that I really like. Welcome. Like there's, it just doesn't feel, super personalized. I mentioned being able to upgrade. So that the company actually has put out a couple upgrades to the firmware, which is very great and surprising for this price point. That rarely happens. There's some bugs that we have talked a little bit about, like the GBA, like BIOS, like not being able to play things like Finish Cap. So like, it'd be great if you could just fix those bugs and you're not having to use all the websites to figure it out, or like change all the code yourself or run scripts. Managing all those ROMs, so like hundreds, some case like some of them have like 1,000 ROMs in them, too much. You might want to delete them, you want to add your own. Those 4 games that's on the screen of each of those, like you can't change it with the software that they have. It's like, it is what it is. So if you like Adventure Island on the Game Boy, which is the first one there, then like you're happy. But you might not want Adventure Island to be your first Game Boy game. So it'd be nice if you could change those things. The thumbnails, so like on that screen, I'll keep it on for now. On that screen where it's showing you all those games, it's nice because it does show you like a picture of the game over to the, I think what is your left. And like, they're not great. They're kind of like weird, like basic artwork stuff. It'd be nice to be able to change those. It'd be nice to change those, like I said, those game shorts on the home screen. So these are all like features that pre-Tadpole were done with lots of different ways. So if you go to this site again that has all this information, it will tell you how to go and do all this, right? And it's a lot of like, more technical details on how you go and change the stuff. So the goal with originally with Frog Tool and then ultimately with this tool that Eric created, Tadpole, was to kind of bring all this together and just make one like tool to do all these customizations and modifications to the SF2000 experience. And it does that all through the micro SD card. So I'm going to turn it off. And then like, how do you pop it out? I like to use like a iPhone charger end of the cable here. I was using like a flathead screwdriver, which is a little sharper than I wanted. This is nice because it's pretty dull. And then you pop it in to the slot, and then you get the SD card out. One other thing that the Data Frog comes with, again, which is amazing for its price point, it comes with a micro SD card reader. So it comes with a micro SD card reader that you plug in. It's USB-A, and you plug it in your computer, and then you put the micro SD card, and you're off to the races. You can play with ROMs, you can add ROMs and whatnot. One thing the community really talks about, though, is that the SD cards that come with these Data Frogs are not like the highest quality. It's very hit or miss. I mean, I don't think we've ever done like surveys or really done any real analysis, but these are not like Sony or SanDisk or like really nice, well-known brands using high-quality components and whatnot. That said, like I think a lot of people like on Discord are like, oh, they're fine, and like I have bought one micro SD card. But because it came with these, like for all my development and testing, I've just been using like these cards and they've been fine. You can also use tools like H2W something to like test the card really thoroughly before you use it. It like reads and writes to us all the time. So, all right. Anyway, I'm going to stick it into the micro SD card reader, and then we'll get going here.
He said, "Stick it in."
Right. So what do you need here? We'll put links into the YouTube channel for downloading Tadpole, which is just executable. That's literally, you don't install it. Some people actually like to take it and put it onto their SD card. That way, wherever you are, you could theoretically run it. And that's all you need for like the basics. We'll cover a couple other things that are really cool to use in conjunction with Tadpole, but we'll talk about those as we kind of like get into it. So like, let's go ahead and launch it. And again, if it crashes, Mike.
I hope it crashes.
Either this is your first time or this is a new version of Tadpole. Either way, we're glad you're here. It is advised to update the bootloader to avoid bricking the SF2000 when charging anything on the SD card. Do you want to download and apply the bootloader fix? Select no if you have already applied the fix previously.
All right, so
you should have Michael do all your voiceovers.
I think we're just bringing him in. We'll pay him as much as we're paying Eric and me on this show. Okay, so
is that more than zero?
No, it's zero.
Oh.
It's zero.
All free.
Oh.
All the tools, all the community does this, just for fun.
They're doing a public service.
They are for all of us.
This is a service that is public. That's true.
Free public service. Okay, there's a really weird issue that is called out on this on the webpage. And what often happens is if they're not like reading carefully, they go and they go into their file explorer. They're learning that they can add like themes and change the boot logo. Here, I'll show it here. Like, we'll see what you have. So like, if you plug in your SD card, this is what you see. And then you're using the website or YouTube channels or Discord, and you're like, oh, I can change like the bootloader, or sorry, the boot logo, that little welcome thing. And you can go in here and you can go like basically change this file and like, change your pictures and stuff. However, there is a pretty nasty bug that happens where if you're changing stuff specifically within this BIOS folder, you can prevent your Froggy from actually loading up. So we'll never get into that screen that shows all the games. And then you're into like a world of frustration and concern, and like you feel like you've destroyed your device. You haven't. I don't think anyone's found a way to like really brick your device because all of it's on the SD card, with the exception of a couple small changes that we'll show you. So it's rarely that you have like bricked your device. Normally what you do is you get the image and then you re-image the SD card and you're good to go. However, this bug that happens can be fixed. And Tadpole actually has basically the kind of a setting for you to go and do this. So, oops, let me go back to Tadpole and launch it. So the dialogue that Michael read out.
Welcome to Tadpole. Either this is your first time or this is a new version.
No, Jason. Or yes, just
Okay.
hit the thing.
So what we really
You knew I had to read it again.
You knew he was going to do it.
if you've done no customizations, we really want you to apply this bootloader fix. There's a community member, Osaka, who's helping with a lot of the firmware development that found the problem and fixed it and created this like patch file. So what's going to happen here is it's going to go and download this file that is really important to fix the frog. And it's going to actually put it on the SD card automatically for you, which is really nice. And it's going to tell you exactly here what to go and do. It's going to tell you to take the SD card out, put it in the Data Frog. You're going to turn it on. In the bottom left, it's going to be like updating. And then it's going to boot into the normal screen. If it does that, you're off to the races. You're in really good shape. You can basically use the Tadpole however you want. And it's fixed for good. That's one of the very few, I think the only change that actually changes the firmware that is not on like the SD card. It's like the code that runs on the actual frog. So like if you get a new SD card, you don't have to worry about this bootloader thing. It literally fixes the bootloader code on the frog. So this is a really important one. I don't like to like pop dialogues and like, you know, don't forget this or do this or do this. But we decided if you go look on like the like every day, there's people like with the same problem, help, like, you know, and it's right here. Where is it? Like connect, install, modding, hold on, help, this one. Like this is what everybody's like, I tried to add a theme or I tried to change this and like my thing won't turn on. So everybody in the community has to like try to help them fix this issue. And
so once you fix this issue once, you never have to worry about it again.
Exactly. And so like whether you say yes or no, when you launch Tadpole again, like I don't pop it every time you load, right? So like here I'm going to close, I'm going to go back into Tadpole, sorry, and launch. And so I have some settings that actually get saved to the SD card in this Tadpole folder, and it's not going to pop that dialog again. Now, if for some reason you said no and you want to go fix it, I do have the option to fix it again right here. We'll go through all these icons in a second, but like we decided it's an important enough issue if you're going to be customizing to fix this so that you're not constantly like breaking, you know, your device and having to re-image it all the time. So, okay. So now we're in Tadpole, and like it hopefully is kind of like what you'd expect from a like ROM management thing here, right? Like all those ROMs that were probably hard to see on the screen are essentially in this list. What you have, we'll explore the menu in a second. We detect which drive is plugged in, which SD card, you know, is there. So like you're not seeing your other drives because none of them have those folders on it that we care about and files on it. So we detect that automatically, and then based on that, we can essentially load up the folders that are connected to this. And you can change the console. So here we can change it to SFC, and it's going to load all these ROMs up. Now, one of the first things that I like to do is delete all of the ROMs that it comes with, because I have a subset of ROMs that I really like. And there's lots of ways to get a subset of ROMs instead of the like whatever 800, 900. There are like top 30, top 50, top 100, you know, ROMs. Archive.org has some really good ROM lists. And to me, it's unmanageable. Like this is too much going on here. So within Tadpole, you can actually select each one individually. You can click delete, and now it's going to delete that one and then kind of rebuild the ROM list. The other thing you could do is you can select the whole thing, or you could select like multiple. I'm holding the control key down, and then I could hit delete, and it's going to get rid of those ROMs and then rebuild the ROM list. Blah blah blah.
You're gonna want that Three Ninjas Get Back. You're gonna want
you can't
that.
get rid of that.
You don't get rid of that.
Get it. I mean, I don't know if you guys have played
Shujiku. Oh no, you should let Michael read that. What's that? Michael's fluent in Japanese. What does that say, Mike?
Chojiku Yosai.
Oh, it even sounds good when he says it.
What does it mean?
Yeah, what does it mean?
So you guys, this is gonna go into a way like
I'll edit this
rabbit
out.
hole that we should not talk about. You guys familiar with Macross?
Mm-hmm. The sport?
No. Oh, is it motocross?
Not lacrosse.
Oh.
Macross.
No, I don't
Is
know
it
what that
not like motorcycles?
No.
No, that's motocross. No, then I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we should probably just
Okay.
let it. Yeah.
That's another video, y'all.
That is
You'll click on the Macross
Add
video.
that one.
It's
That'll be the next
We'll
video.
we'll upload that.
So Macross is we'll just put it this way. It's another mecha anime like Gundam. Gundam in Japanese is Kidou Senshi Gundam, and this is Chojiku whatever.
Okay, so it's a giant robot thing.
It's just another like mobile suit type thing. Just don't worry about it.
Mecha.
We digress.
But how do you say this one, Michael?
Chou Aniki Bakuretsu Ranto.
Well, what does that mean? Since we've derailed the video, it's a fighting game. Looks like a fighting game.
So Aniki is what you would be like. What a generally, man, we really shouldn't be derailing it to this level.
It's not. I mean,
Aniki is like what a younger dude would say to your older dude. It means literally brother, like older brother, but it doesn't actually have to be your older brother, but it's also not bro in the bro sense. Does that make sense?
Got it.
So, and chol, and this is the same chol from just below it, means super or above or uber.
Super older brother, but not in the bro sense.
Yes.
Is my translation.
And bakuretsu is a word that doesn't actually exist but does. It's hard to explain. So it's a combination of the two words bakuhatsu, which means explode, and haretsu, which means to burst. So it's a portmanteau of like explurst, basically. And lanto is like a fighting or a melee.
I'm out of drink. I'm way too sober for this conversation. I'm officially out. I'm out.
I'm out as well, and it's a non-alcoholic. So.
Okay, so back on track. Hold on. So
yes,
you can delete the games.
Super older brother super older brother explosions / burst fighting version is what
it got weird.
It got weird, didn't it?
It got weird, didn't it?
So you can make the list anything you want.
Now, some people might say, "Can't I just go into the folder and do that?" Right? Like, could I just not go into SFC and literally just delete them? Yes, you can. And deleting actually isn't a big deal. Now adding your own is a little interesting. You can actually add any zipped ROMs up. You can actually add any, like, you know how it was like you saw SNES 9X, I think is what it was. Like, you could add ROMs that have the right extensions. Now you notice all these have this letter Z in front of it. What they've done is they've essentially taken the ROM file and that thumbnail, and they kind of like mushed it into a proprietary file format. What that means is like it makes it a little harder to add your own that has the right thumbnail, which we'll talk about really quickly in a second. But like you can add your own script, you can add your own ROMs. What you'll see that happens on the Data Frog is like it shows up in the list, plays fine. The thumbnail just says no thumbnail. It's not a big deal. But those of us that like buy these consoles, like we always joke that like you end up spending more time customizing it and getting it perfect than you actually do playing
the game.
Which, you can spend hours and hours, right, customizing your ROM list and getting your thumbnails right and all that stuff. It reminds me of like the South Park where like
what do we do now, Cartman?
Yeah,
we play the game.
We play the game.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's a very like common like theme on like the Discord channels and stuff. So here's what I like to do. I actually like to get rid of all of the. I haven't actually tested this in a long time, so we'll.
You're gonna delete. You're
wiping
it. I gotta say, By the way, 142 Chuck Rock. That's got to be like. Speaking of portmanteaus, I kind of wish it would be a portmanteau of Chuck Norris and Chris Rock.
Is that game where you're the caveman who throws rocks? Okay,
It
I'm looking
is.
that up.
It
Wow,
is.
wow,
It
okay.
is.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah.
I kind of wanted to throw that out there.
I would like to see that game. No, I do. I like to delete all of them. You really can. I mean, you can spend as much time as you want. You'll see I have my own curated list that I'm going to add here in a second. But the first thing I like to do is I like to clear them all out. Again, for this video, I actually re-imaged the SD card with the one that ships with it. And I go in here, I just delete them. And
we need to insert the strong bad deleted sound effect.
Deleted. Oh, I can work on that.
Oh, that'd be awesome. We should add all those 90s themes to the
Deleted.
Deleted.
With things that like these huge lists, one thing that you notice, I've tried to add a lot of these progress bars in, and some places I have it, and it's just like again,
So the beast, are they actual progress bars or are they fake Windows progress bars?
Good question. A lot of them are real, and some of them are fake. And by fake, I mean like I get it to it. Like I'll explain this one in a second. But a really good one is like this boot logo. So like I'm gonna click upload from local. Look, I jump it to 50.
Oh yeah, that's a fake.
Now,
yeah.
It's going and doing something in a function that I can't deal with. It's going to that byserv file and like pulling the bytes out. I don't know what's going on, so I just chuck it to 50, and that's better than
it's
if you
true.
Notice, like here, I'm going to delete all these GB games. Now notice there's so many here. I really should have a progress bar or something like deleting, right? Because it looks like it's hung up, but it hasn't. It's deleting them. It's just super slow.
Jared may not be familiar with the concept of a fake progress bar.
I know that some of them I am, yes.
That one's real. That one's pulling.
That one's real.
Some of them really do, indicate how far along you are, and some of them are bullshit or bullcrap. Excuse me. I'll beep there. I'll put a beep there.
Tommy will tell you if he watches this. She said a bad word.
Beep.
I appreciate the attention to detail there, Jason.
Hey, I do want to get. You don't get a lot. You get like. You have to build a lot of stuff your own. Oh, there's that 007 different.
Oh yeah, I never played that.
I didn't either. When I've been doing a lot
and
of
you're
testing.
Deleting it.
I know it's all. I can never get it back. No, I have all these files saved.
Okay, good.
Not like these are.
He said he imaged it before he did anything.
That's right. He did say that. That's right. You already did Famicom.
I forgot to select. I didn't actually do it. I think I was. I think I started with it. I think I was deleting one. We'll see here in a second if it's performing correctly.
So does this also run the Okama GameSphere games?
As far as I know.
What was it called? Thirst for Blood? Or was that the game they were playing?
Yes, I
was
believe
that it?
so.
Thirst for Blood?
There was also No, that was a different episode.
Oh man, you ripped off his legs and beat him over the head with it. Oh man, and they got increasingly more violent.
Yeah,
you ripped out
just
his
a rip off
spine.
of Mortal Kombat.
It was, yeah, it was all a commentary on Mortal Kombat.
I missed the which one was it? Where? Oh no, it was when they do Guitar Hero. The chase the dragon and then you inject yourself with heroin or something.
Yeah. The Guitar Hero one always made me laugh because Randy comes out and like actually plays the songs on his guitar, and they're all like, "Dad, that's so lame. You're so lame, Dad." He's like, "No, but I can really play it." And they're like, "No, that's lame."
Oh,
so have you deleted them all?
I feel that in my soul.
I left. Now I don't have a curated list for arcade. I don't know anything about MAME and arcade and all this stuff.
Alien vs Predator.
Yeah,
there was a Dungeons and Dragons game.
Leave all of them.
Yeah, I just leave these here because I don't have a curated list. So arcade, I tend to leave alone. Okay, so now before we go add ROMs into that stuff, let me just walk.
I hope there's Darkstalkers in there. That would be amazing.
I think you could add. I'll show you settings in a second because it's more relevant to like when you're doing something. Now OS basically is anything that's not with ROMs we put in here. So firmware is basically the stuff that makes all of this work. So it's like the screen that you saw. Like I mentioned, the Data Frog company actually has put out a couple different versions of firmware. Tadpole will let you upgrade. You can also like downgrade if for some reason you wanted to, but like for this, I'm going to go ahead and do detect and update, because the one that I flashed was the firmware from May, and there was an updated version. There's that fake progress bar for you that will actually update to the latest one. Ooh, did it go? I don't know. I haven't tested this in like a week or two. Didn't pop a dialogue, which makes me a little worried. I think it's working now.
Mike's
Mike,
getting ready to take a shot.
Take that shot.
I did go get a refill on my whiskey, so
Yeah, let me see if this one works.
Please don't
Eric,
work. Please don't work. Please don't work.
So Eric, who is the creator of Tadpole, and I have come in and like just made a mess of all of his code. Many of the features that like deal with showing the list and like the ROMs and like combining, you'll see thumbnails and stuff like that in a second, all come from Eric. If it doesn't work, it's probably because I messed it up. But we've been kind of merging our code and like doing some cleanup, so I haven't done some testing here in a day or two on some of these. So anyway, you can update the firmware. That's a good thing to always do. The latest one from August didn't change a whole lot, but it did improve performance a little bit. There were a couple other small changes.
It is interesting that the company that makes these are actually supporting them.
It is very unique.
Yeah.
The community thinks that it's probably like in their best interest for the next version that they write anyway, and then they're getting like testing with it kind of. So like the assumption is that they'll like use it for the next version of
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Now in this menu, there are two other options in addition to detecting and updating. One is this thing called a battery fix. What this does is it doesn't actually make the battery change. That little on the top right, it shows how much battery is left, and there's like 4 little bars. As the battery goes down, it doesn't work very well, like out of the box. And there's a creator, DTN, and then there's some other ones that have done a really good job figuring out like how to make the battery meter like more accurate, and then also like pop a little dialogue that's like your battery's about to die, which is part of the firmware. But what happens is the screen loses power, the backlight loses power before that pops. So often you're like played and the game, like it's still on, but the backlight's dying, the thing pops. So this battery fix essentially will go ahead and just fix the firmware, to make this work. Well, I don't know if this will work.
Hey y'all, if your screen goes black, your battery's probably low.
That's probably it. So anyway, so like you can again patch the firmware from that, which is nice. And then that last option is just the one that I showed at the beginning, which fixes the bootloader. You don't have to do it again. Once you've fixed your Frog, if you change SD cards, all that kind of stuff, you don't have to run that again. Okay, that's OS. Themes. This is fun. So like we'll go to this website. There have been a lot of themes created for the Data Frog, and there's a couple folks that have been writing and collecting. Zerter here has been collecting a lot of these, and he's made quite a few himself. And what we do
that's fun.
Is we actually go and we pull all of these themes right into Tadpole, so you don't have to worry about downloading them and then like basically putting all the files in the right places. You can just use the website to see what you like. And I'll let y'all pick. What do you want to have here for your theme?
There's no HoloLive, right?
HoloLive. No.
Oh, that's the Zelda one. What's Retro Wave?
Retro Wave. I haven't looked. Is it down on this list? There you go.
That's cool. It's got the
pretty neat.
I like that.
All right, Retro Wave. All right, let's go Retro Wave. Again, I haven't tested these in a long time, so I'm sure it'll work great.
Michael's going to take a shot. It's going to be great.
Here it goes. This actually does work. This progress bar, sorry, like I don't know if it'll actually work, but like the progress bar worked. Now, I changed the theme. It gives you a little sample here on the website, but we can always pop it out and pop it into the Frog real quick. Something that Eric did that was kind of cool is like the app doesn't close. I did some versions where it was like, this is too annoying. And so I was like trying to close the app
Oh, you could just like remove it without closing the app, and it doesn't care.
Exactly, which is
Nice.
really nice.
That is nice.
So that was really good stuff by Eric. Let's see if this works. We'll change that boot logo in a second. There you go. Can you all see that? Is it coming through okay?
Oh, nice. Cool.
Very neat.
All right.
I like that.
That is a cool theme. And so the themes change different parts. So like this theme appears to only change like the main menu stuff here. Other themes will change some of these other backgrounds. So I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to plug the SD card back in. I have not done hot swapping like this for testing in a while, so I'm sure it'll be great. All right, back into the micro SD slot. And then it popped up. And these are all empty because I haven't added any ROMs. I'm going to go ahead, and I'm not going to show this one, but my favorite is actually this one called Simple Garlic theme. Garlic OS. There's a bunch of other devices that have this operating system called Garlic OS, which is really just like a super clean, simple view of it, and I kind of like it. So I'm going to go hit that one for now, and I'll kind of show you why I like that one in just a couple minutes here. All right, so we updated the firmware, right? We updated the theme. Cool. So we're making our way down the list. Background music. Y'all heard that, like, 80s elevator music.
Oh, wow. Call Up More. That actually is HoloLive.
Oh, cool. Okay, so again, same thing with themes. Lots of background music. That guy DTN that I was mentioning earlier, he's created a tool that you can like add and create your own music, like based on your own stuff.
Oh.
So like, again, we just integrate those in. So like we have a GitHub repository, basically a place that we upload, and they show right up here, and you don't have to update Tadpole. They just show up. You can preview it.
I don't know if that's going to trigger any copyright stuff if you do that.
Oh, good point. Good point. All right. Good call. Probably. And they have all those bots that like determine that stuff. I'm going to turn it to empty for now. Because
is that
generally,
what you use generally?
Yeah, just because like, I don't know, like, if I'm going like with that theme, that Garlic OS, if I was doing like, let's say I was making this a Pokemon
for the boys.
Yeah. Or let me show you. Okay, real quick. They have other colors. Now, apparently this color doesn't look that great, Mario color. There's this really cool, let's see. You
could do a whole Mario themed one, basically.
Exactly.
So is it possible to actually load in, like save your own, like.
Ooh, click Johnny Depp paintings. Let's go. I think that's a whole nother. Oh my God, that's a whole nother video that we could do.
I'm pretty sure that's based on your search history, not what you just searched right now.
That'll be in the channel as well, everybody.
We need to discuss this
as well.
Yes. So is it possible then to load your own sound and or image files to create your own background music and background?
Yes, in fact you can. So for each of these things, there's ones that we include. Also, just
local file.
So you can just like create your own, or if like we don't have it in a repository, you can go and pull it from like a folder, and you can pull everything in yourself. And then same with background music, you could just grab your own, basically upload, and push it right to it.
Interesting. That is pretty neat.
All right, I really wanted to. I like this. So this one looks cool. There's a black one that's really nice. I wanted to show you the Mario one. The black one looks really nice. Oh well.
You look really nice.
But to your point, you could thank you. You could like have it Mario. You could use a Mario theme, and you could have all the games be Mario. That's an example. Okay, we've got the themes, background music, boot logo. Now we haven't done this yet, but like just like we do this, we could actually have a bunch of boot logos that are part of it. We just haven't like built that feature out. But this site again has lots of boot logos. These are cool. All playing with the Data Frog stuff.
Oh, the little frogs.
Jared, the one I think you'll really like. Let me just do it right within the tool. So I've downloaded a couple. I'm going to upload one. Now what it's going to do is show you the existing one here in a second. that weird welcome thing. I'm going to pick my own. I'm going to go into boot logos. And then this guy is my favorite.
Oh, that's great.
That's pretty great. I like that.
I switched between that one and these like Data Frog SF2000, like Super Nintendo ones. They're super cute.
Man,
but
I'd do one with the frog that he saves in Blaster Master.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know if there is one like that yet. You could make one. You could contribute, Jared.
Ooh. Oh, I might.
You could for free.
For free.
Yeah.
Give it out to everybody. Now, this is a little crazy. You'd think this was just like a picture, and like you just upload it and you're good to go. In fact, it's really complicated. That picture is embedded in the, essentially like the firmware file, that BISRV file.
Oh.
You got to go in and literally like write the bytes to a specific section in that binary file. It's super complicated. But again, the community's done an amazing job. In addition to Tadpole, there's like lots of web tools to do this stuff. Like Zercher here has some really cool things to like go and just, basically generate pictures off of PNGs. So if you wanted to make your own, you can, and then you could just do upload, from your own set there. So lots of cool community stuff on that. And then there's not much here yet. I think there's actually one for Neo Geo. I was just seeing today, like another improved BIOS for the Neo Geo stuff. There is this one for Game Boy. Again, like it's one little file that goes in there. It just puts it in the right place, and that lets you fix some games like Finish Cap. That's the OS stuff. Any questions?
No.
What else you got for us?
A couple more. Now, this menu, basically, like as you're modifying stuff, it's always trying to update. You can also like tell it to update all of it at once. And what that's essentially doing is just making sure all those files that you saw, VSVs, that like all that stuff, it just does it for all the folders. And just the off chance that you were like messing around with the SD card and like not, maybe changing some things. So it's just kind of like a catch-all little button to make sure everything's right. This is nice. You can actually back up all your saves. So within each of those, we just formatted this, so it's not really going to have anything interesting. But I can, what it's going to do is go into all those emulators, and there's a save folder. And every time you do a save state, it actually goes, which is really nice, into that. Oops, we're right here. Did I save one on Game Boy? I can't remember when I was playing Link's Awakening. Anyway, all those would be here, and then Tadpole actually lets you save all those save files. Again, just in case your SD card problem.
Oh, cool.
Your save, you can then just, we don't have like an upload, but like you just blop them right back in the folder. So
that's very nice.
Just in case.
Just in case.
So
in case David Johnson knocks you and pulls out your Final Fantasy V.
Right in the middle of
four.
Right in the middle of you saving, corrupts your whole file.
He's even like, no, it's fine. We're like, no, it's not. It's not going to be fine. He's like, it's going to be fine. And then like, of course, it wasn't fine.
He turned the power off as it said save still on the screen.
It said, do not turn your power off. Yeah.
He turned the power off. I thought he like pulled out the.
No. This is FF4 PlayStation version.
Hey, he hit the power button. He's like, let's go. We got to go.
Where were you even going?
I'm something stupid.
Upstairs to draw dicks on David's forehead.
Okay, well, that's worth it. That's worth it. You're not here, Dave, so you can't defend yourself.
This begs the question, though.
Yeah.
If all of these save files are, hold on.
Okay.
Wait for it. Let me think through it for a second. If all of these save files there work, and this is strictly, and it does use what did we say? SNES
9X. Yeah.
9X.
I know where you're going.
Could you do like Pokemon ROM hacks or something like that?
We could do ROM hacks. Yes.
Very nice.
So I just
very nice.
Pokemon ROM hacks, and so yeah, you can do ROM hacks. I thought you were going to go with like, can I pull save files in? And the answer is yes. You
Oh
can
well, I
actually,
was gonna say, could you actually make your own save file too? Yeah, technically.
yeah, you could like if you've been playing on one system, you want to bring it to the Frog, you can get a file there. Now Eric is doing some. I don't know if he's announced it, so I don't know if I can say it. But like he may or may not be working on another tool, which is like if you play on your Steam Deck or you play on your Froggy or you play on like, and you're playing one game, it's kind of annoying because it like doesn't sync, right? Like if you use like
Right.
it'd be really cool if you could sync your save file seamlessly. And he's kind
Oh
of
man.
You
So
know,
you could
that
go from
would be
device
pretty
to device.
cool.
yeah, that would be huge.
Oh, that would be pretty neat.
Unfortunately, I did see that this does not have Wi-Fi connectivity, so you got to do it manually. But that's still pretty neat.
Still pretty cool.
Most of the other devices have, well, a lot of them. Like in this price range, they don't. But like a lot of the other ones have Wi-Fi. There's that Mini Plus and that RG something. They have Wi-Fi, and those custom firmware on top has built local gameplay. So if you have one and I have one, we can play like the SNES game together.
Oh well, that is cool.
That is cool.
And like you could do it on the plane because it does peer-to-peer. So you don't need Wi-Fi.
Oh.
You just need the device.
You just do Bluetooth.
Which is really,
Wow.
really cool. Yeah. But the Frog is not that powerful or capable. So funny enough, it does have a wireless chip on it. It does 2.4 gigahertz, like proprietary, because the controllers that it comes with are it is, but it will not do. It is not a Wi-Fi chip. It doesn't support any type of Wi-Fi. Essentially Bluetooth, but it's not Bluetooth. And if you think we leverage it to do stuff, the answer is yes. And like, there's people in Discord that are trying to figure out how to like.
Yeah, there's gotta be a way to utilize that then.
To piggyback off of that.
Yeah, there's some stuff you can do, but it doesn't have the capability of doing Wi-Fi. It doesn't even have the capability of doing Bluetooth. It has, as far as we can tell, like a very simple Wi-Fi transmitter. Literally, the little controllers that it comes with, they're actually pretty decent. Again, for like $15 total. There's a little switch, 1-player, 2-player, and then like if you had both set to 1 player, it will listen to both. So it's not like doing pairing and like all this fancy stuff. It's pretty simple communication.
Mm-hmm.
I think this site has something on the controllers.
That is pretty neat.
Firmware resources. I'm sure there's something there. Okay, we're moving right along. So we've done
Footloose and fancy free.
All right,
Sorry,
let's move quickly through this. What was that?
That was the next line to what you said. Moving right along, Footloose. It's from the Muppet movie.
Muppet movie. Yeah,
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
All right, so now I'm going to do basically adding of ROMs, and then we're going to do some thumbnails, and then we're going to do some game shortcuts, and then we're done. Okay, so we'll knock it quickly here. So Nintendo, I'm going to go in and go into my ROMs folder, and I'm going to go into NES. And these are like, again, top, I don't know, 30, 40 of Nintendo. What's the shortcut key to go all the way down? Why am I not remembering it? Is it plus?
Right, so these are just basically the hits.
Yeah.
Well, if we were in Excel, it would be Control and then down arrow. But
I wonder if that was right. Yeah.
Can you just shift and scroll down?
That would make too much sense to do that.
Something looks like a small bug because you are able to. I've been able to add them. Let me go down. Select. Looks like this
Does
dialogue.
Mike take a shot for that? Can he take a shot for this?
I think he should.
I will take a drink of my whiskey. I mean, I've been drinking this whole time, so.
This has regressed.
Yeah.
Normally, what I do is I do a multi-select all the way down. I think I hold Shift and then page down. I know Eric and I were doing some fixes on these dialogues, and it looks like it's not letting me grab multiple ones right now. So I'd say that's a bug. Let's see if.
Oh, don't say that word.
What bug?
Bug.
The word.
Bug.
Word.
I'm sad Michael's not taking a shot.
I did drink. I didn't take a
I'm
shot.
gonna-
I took a drink.
It
It was a significant sip.
Okay.
a significant sip, aren't they all?
I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to do it. Oh, no, it's something with my, oh, my keyboard's not working. Hold on.
It's not that.
Blame
You
Pep.
drank for nothing.
Pepcap error.
Drank for nothing.
Pepcac error.
Hold on. Literally, my keyboard's not working. Hold on.
You gotta throw that shot, that drink, that significant sip back up, Mike.
I really don't want to do that.
Okay, I think we're back in business now. All right, so that's where that dialog popped. That looks like a bug. All right, let's try this again. Add ROMs, Hue, ROMs, NES, Adventure. There we go.
There it goes.
All right, y'all. Now we're making some business. So
Do it.
We'll cut that in post.
It works great. All right, so now it's saying, do you want to add thumbnails? Now this is how I got into Tadpole. So this wasn't here when I started. What Eric had implemented was you could add these zip files. You could also go in here and add your own thumbnails. Now he had a feature also to like download them automatically from like the internet, and it kind of worked depending on like the name of it. I came in and like tried to, George, Jazz. Jazz helped me a little bit, try to like fix and try to make it better. And we got it pretty good. We got into a state that was pretty decent. And I was doing more research and like asking people in Discord. And what I found out is that this tool called Scraper is really popular. And for good reason.
Scrape you.
Second. Yes, you will.
Yes, you will.
So if I go and take this SD card out right now, you'll see all of these ROMs in that list, and they will all run fine. Notice they're all .zip, no problem. They'll all load correctly. They won't have the thumbnail, and for some reason, we all want those thumbnails. Now, one thing you can do in settings is play with these thumbnails and get them like kind of the way you want to look and feel and things. So the first thing is you can view the thumbnails in the ROM list. Now, the reason why I added this was as I was updating, I was like, oh, that one's good enough, or this one's not good enough, or this one's missing. If I go to arcade, you'll see why that looks a little bit better here. So it doesn't crash. I don't think I've broken that. Okay. Oh, look at that.
Ooh.
And good. So these are all the thumbnails for those arcade games, right? But my newly added zip files don't have those thumbnails.
Right.
In settings, you could go in here and you can automatically download from the internet, and it kind of works. And the thumbnails are okay. We've got like a place that downloads them. It's decent, but not great. Better is to upload your own, but then like how do you go find and build that? And we'll show that in a second with Scraper. And then like, do you want to always overwrite, or do you just want to add like new ones? Again, if you're doing a bunch of changes and you've got like your existing ROMs, those thumbnails don't look great as what you'll see in a second. And it might be nice to like overwrite them. So that's why I added that little thing there. So I'm going to say, let's view and let's upload. Now, we just uploaded all these zips, and you noticed when I was adding them, it did ask me, do I want to try to, do I want to add thumbnails for it? I said no, just because we were adding those. Now, here's what we can do. We can say yes, and it's going to let me pick, where those thumbnails are. And again, you could go do a bunch of manual work and find all these things, or you can use a cool tool called Scraper. Scraper is on the internet. We'll have links to it. It is built by, I think, some French people, given that it's like mostly French. There's something with French in the title and stuff. And
thank you, the French.
I don't see French anywhere. We should thank the French. Well, we should thank Monsieur Lafayette for, basically saving the U.S. back in 1776.
Yeah. Foie gras is delicious. Anyway, thank you, the French.
That's true. It's the geese don't agree, but
no, I know it's not very nice for the geese, but it is delicious.
It's true.
Anyway, here it is. I'm pretty sure sorry about that.
We digress.
We digress again.
Very much digress. Now, this is really cool and powerful, but it's also like a bit to set up. There's a bunch of great YouTube videos. You have to like create an account to like get the full feature and all that. So you should really create an account. When you're doing setup, you have to point to the root of your ROM folder. what that means is like, if you have a folder that has all of your ROMs in it, you can basically tell Scraper, all my ROMs are here. And then it's going to go and like try to look at all these folders and see what they are. And based on what they are, it creates these like, consoles for them, which is cool. And then each of these consoles has a bunch of settings and whatnot. There's a lot to unpack. I wanted to show two things from this. So when you're setting up for scraping, specifically for Data Frog, all of this is generally fine. Again, like I've pointed it to this folder, and that's actually normally where I have like my bigger set of ROMs. And I create an account because it gives me like more what they call threads, and you need threads because it takes a long time to download all these pictures. Game list, you don't have to worry about for Data Frog. This is cool, like with more advanced retro consoles that use like a file that like gives you more details and videos and all kinds of stuff. For Frog, doesn't matter. Metadata, this again is where it's like trying to pull the type of pictures you want and how it wants to like figure out what that's going to look like, and like try to figure out, I'm trying to think, like Final Fantasy is probably a good example, right? Like, is it Final Fantasy 1 or is Final Fantasy 2 in the US, or is it Final Fantasy 2 in Japan? It'll try to like figure out the round file.
I don't know about you guys, but I use a VPN that sets my location in Myanmar, so I think we're okay for the metadata aspect of it.
All right. The most important thing, and we'll provide links for this, is the type of media that it generates. Now, you can change this. They've got some built-in ones, but there is a really cool version called Garlic Onion Mix. And that view there, notice it's like taller, right, than wide. And in the Data Frog menu, that's a really good size for that thumbnail viewer that's in that big list. Because what I was doing when I was pulling a bunch of the images, kind of what Eric had implemented, what I tried to improve, it's taking more like this kind of stuff, the title screen, and
then cropping it.
Yeah, exactly, cropping or stretching, which was kind of worse, right? So like, I think most of it was like, image, it was like kind of like in-game stuff. So this is a really nice format. What it's doing is putting like the cool game title up top. Got like a little bit of like a gradient there, and then it shows the game, and we'll see.
It almost looks like the case, like the case of the game when you buy it, almost.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2 actually had Sonic and Tails giving you the peace sign kind of.
The peace signs, that's right. But still, that looks good. It looks good on the left.
It looks good, and you'll see like the ones that it generates for the games that we love. It looks really good too. Now you can generate two medias, which is actually really good for the Data Frog because we're going to be able to replace those game shortcut icons there on that home screen. So what you want is kind of like that square one, right? You could do screenshot. I really like the title screenshot one.
Title's good. Yeah.
That's nice.
That one's nice. You can do fan art, but I ended up picking title art. And then, the output folder, basically just like, where do you want it to go? And then like cleanup just means delete old ones or whatever. And then, for these, you actually want to do like 124 by 124 because that's the size of the pixels on the screen for that little box. Now, if you don't do that, it's actually not a big deal. There's a person on Discord, I think his name was Doggy World. Oh man, I think it's Doggy World. He did some improvements to the code to like make these look even better, and like he brings them and puts a nice little white border and like looks really good. So all good if they get like sized down a bit. He tries to keep the aspect ratio and all that. Same thing here. These, they're taller than they are wide. And even if you didn't have this set, they'd still fit pretty well. These just happen to be the exact dimensions of those thumbnails. So it's just nice to set them if you can remember. Otherwise, basically like you set the, there's nothing here that you need to worry about really. But I did change something here. I don't know if it helped or not. How is it going to find the media? And basically, CRC is kind of looking at that ROM file and detecting what it is. It's kind of like a checksum, like probably knows, right? Like based on what that unique long value is, it goes and finds that value, even if the name is completely different. It knows it's the exact same ROM, and then it does a lookup, and then it finds the right media. If it has that, great. Otherwise, it just uses the file name to find it. And then the reason why I was, being the American, they had Japanese listed ahead of world, and a lot of the matches, for whatever reason, were matching Japanese titles, probably because the ROMs I'm getting are still Japanese based or whatnot, even though they look pretty much all straight English to me. But I was just finding on YouTube, people were saying push the Japanese to the end, and like you'll normally get the right match between US and what is world here. I don't know what SS means.
Secret Service?
Soviet Union? No.
No.
Oh, okay. So
Well.
I do want to show you something really, really, really important that Mike will love, and Jared will appreciate it too. I'm just trying to find like a simple. What's one that's like?
I love you. I
Yes,
do
you
like
do.
I do like Mame is the emulator for the arcade, so you can in fact play Darkstalkers, and that answers that question.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, boom.
I wanted to run this.
I can see Felicia in beautiful
over on the
what was it, 147 by 147.
Oh, look at that.
They look really good.
Oh, that's neat. Ooh,
So
Super
it goes
Metroid,
You
Contra
can buy
3,
more. These look really
Secret
good.
of Mana,
These are
Zelda,
really for my like curated list.
RPG, Mega Man 10.
So you start this going and you just leave it
Oh
for
yeah,
a little
like
while.
and I picked Super Nintendo because I'll come back here in a second, but the ending of Scraper is probably the best part. It plays a very awesome sound once it's done. So I'll try to keep my mic close by here. Well, I guess what was it, 40 seconds?
Okay.
Yeah, let us know what the sound is that we're.
You'll hear it. You'll know.
You'll know. You'll know.
Oh no, you won't, because it's not coming through the computer. Darn it! There's no way for me to fix it. It's the Final Fantasy VII Battle Complete.
Oh, no.
It's really good. Okay, so it's going to do its thing. It's going to make all those images. All right, so now back to Tadpole. Here we are. You can add them all and then hit like, it'll say, do you want to add thumbnails? Just say yes, and it basically is the same thing as this button. What I did for sorry, copyright. All right, so I had those two media types output, right? One was basically that full height, the one that Garlic OS thing that I showed. The other one was just those title images. Now for thumbnails, these are the ones in that list. We want to do the full height. Now you want to make sure that you're in the right folder. I am in Nintendo, so I'm going to go in here. I'm going to select full height and select folder. Now it's going to go and basically grab all those files. Here's a little bit of fake progress bar. And basically add all those thumbnails onto that. Now, here they are. So because I had settings previously, like you could just know they're there. Notice that they've all changed from zip over this ZFC format.
Nice.
But you can go in here and actually view them, right? So that was kind of nice. These look really good.
That's cool.
Yeah. And of course, if you don't like it individually, you can go in here and change it, right? You can go pick your own, you can modify. All right.
Laser tits for everything.
Yeah, for everything.
I mean, look at these, look so good.
Those actually look really nice. I like them.
Yeah.
Now, we're on to the last feature, which is game shortcut. And out of the box, right, it was showing those 4 icons. And some of them were okay. Like they were generally pretty decent games, but once you blast all your games away, you want to pick your own. So what we're going to do here is pick our favorite game.
Blaster Master.
And we're obviously going to Blaster Master in. Oh, my mouse is, I think it's something with this Bluetooth. All right, put Blaster Master.
Oh, and you pick your 4.
Yeah, what do you want? What's next?
How about there was Final Fantasy. Once you hit Final Fantasy, Metroid.
Wait. Oh, that's interesting. They had Rockman up there instead of Mega Man.
Yeah, so that was probably a CRC match, right? Like that it got Rockman instead.
So yeah, but this is all NES stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, I was gonna say Final Fantasy 3, but it's okay. It's okay.
Is that? Oh, I may not have. Wait, it's 3. Well,
he may not have that one on here.
Yeah, that's an NES.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 3 is NES.
In the US or in
Japan?
Correct.
Yeah,
why
because
I'm
two
calling
and
it, yeah.
2 and 3 they were never released here, right? Or well, they were later.
It's true.
Yeah, I think I have it here. My Super Nintendo. Oops. Let me go grab it here.
Because in Super Nintendo it was 6 technically, 6 in Japan, 3 here, right?
Yes,
Ooh,
that's
ActRaiser.
right. Yeah, ActRaiser. Do ActRaiser.
All right, we'll pull them all in. We'll add this up. It's super fast. Once you did now that I've had them all generated, it's going to pull them in. I'm going to click yes. I do want to add the thumbnails. It's already in the raw SVS folder because I remembered it. I'm going to click it. It's going to copy them. It's going to take a little bit of time. Now, if you had a list of a couple hundred, this is going to be rough because it's got to pull all those thumbnails. It's got to generate the files. So you could see my list there was I don't know, 40 or so. I need to improve the progress bar here because I think we could get a little better. I basically got
That's completely fake.
It's very well. The first 50, which it wasn't 50, but basically I did get all of the files downloaded. What's going on now is it's got to convert every single file.
From zip to ZFC.
Yeah. So if we cheat and we go over here and look at, I think it finished finally. There we go. So here we go. There you go. Look good.
Nice.
All right. So of course, Super Metroid, all that good stuff.
Oh, one didn't get one.
It's okay. I meant Final Fantasy 3 as in Final Fantasy 3, not Final Fantasy 6, but it's okay.
I know. Okay. All right. You're right, because that's not even 3, really, right? That's 6. That's
exactly.
Yeah.
Because we were on NES, that's why I meant 3.
That's right.
But the point being you can pick your 4 go-tos.
Well, so this is a good point. It means you can pick your 4 go-tos per system.
Per system. That's exactly.
Yes,
and change them once you beat them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can change them at any time, but
exactly.
But it's nice that it's not system agnostic. You can choose the system that you're playing a game on and pick the 4 for that system that are your favorites.
Right.
And if let's say you beat them and you want to change them, you can just do this. It's going to tell you that you have
Battletoads. That's what it is. Battletoads. You need to do Battletoads for NES.
And it'll change.
It warns you and then lets you change it.
There
exactly.
You go.
It's just going to automatically do it because it's not that big of a deal. I didn't want to put "Are you sure?" on every single thing. So, all right. So now we've changed literally the shortcut, which is all we had for a while. Now this is really cool. I'm going to click Change Game Shortcut Icons. It's really crazy, but here I'm going to skip this. I'll show you that in a second. This screen with these icons is actually just a binary file, and it's literally these are not separate pictures to the Data Frog, which is really frustrating because what that means is if you want to change these icons, you have to go take those PNG files and use some Python or choose whatever coding you want and go and put them all into these files. And you can manually do it too with a MS Paint or whatever. And then you save it as a PNG and then you convert it over to this format that the Data Frog supports. It's a lot of work. That's why a lot of themes just use kind of generic icons. But we built a pretty cool feature that it basically will pull in those thumbnails. You can pull those thumbnails and change them yourself. So for example, right, Blaster Masters right here, it's this icon. And I'm going to go into NES and I'm going to go to title. And then I'm going to go to Blaster Master, and then I'm going to select it, and it's going to show up there. So
nice.
I picked the icon, and those are very different, right, size-wise and whatnot. So they look a lot better rather than kind of stretching or keeping the aspect ratio and putting really thick white borders. Those are really good. Now you can do this for every single game. There was a guy on Discord, I think his name was GAL. Somebody was like, can you, I changed themes and I lost all that hard work for my shortcut icons. Now, if you change themes, these numbers don't change. They're separate files. It's literally just, again, the picture changes. And he was like, I just wasted all this time. I didn't realize the themes screwed up those icons. So what we built was pick your folder. Oh, I did click it right. Pick your folder that has those icons, and what it tries to do is match based on the name. Now, if you use Scraper, all of those thumbnails that it's generating are based on the name itself. It creates those PNGs exactly based on it. So here, it just was super easy. It's like it pulled them all in really nicely.
Nice.
And then I just click save, and I'm off to the races here. And again, I can do that for all of them here. And change. And again, you could even like automate this if you wanted to and be like, okay, let's just assume they want it, but we figured. So there in SNES, right? We were playing around. We didn't actually select one for game 1 or for
1
2.
and 4.
Yeah, so like we could go in here, like I always like ActRaiser. And then we'll throw Donkey Kong Country in number 4. We'll go in here, we'll get it to pick. It keeps it saved, which is nice. It'll pull it.
Boom.
Nice.
Good to go.
Very nice.
Cool.
That's all like the big features. There's one new one that's coming out soon. We'll do one last look on the frog here to look at all this all the work we've done. I was working on this today. Now let's say you didn't do that bootloader fix that we talked about in the beginning, and you have a blank screen. Normally you have to go reimage. Reimaging 16 gigabytes on a micro SD card takes like, depending on a lot of things, 20, 30 minutes. We have a feature now with Tadpole where like we'll go and like help you format it, download all the files properly, and then like, make it a lot faster for you. And then we'll go do the bootloader fix so that doesn't happen to you again. So that's like a feature that we're bringing in. And then the README actually pulls in some extra information that Eric had pulled in. That's super helpful for learning. And again, I just wanted to call out Eric, who's done a lot of the hard work and groundwork for Tadpole. Apparently, Wiki, who I've never met, did some work on it as well. And then also the original creator of the Frog tool, which did a lot of this ROM management and conversion over to these CSF files and all these formats, was by this person, TZLION, TZLion, I don't know. All right, so we've done it all. We're going to pull it out and see if it works.
Pull it out.
And if it doesn't, Mike has to take a very big shot.
I've finished all of my alcohol, which has been like
Well, that's unfortunate.
1, 2. No. I've got more I could pour. I think I've just had like 6 drinks during this hour and a half thing. So.
All right.
Look at that.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
You can see it right there. You can see it right there.
Better or worse with the light up? Worse, yeah.
Worse. Much
Yeah,
worse.
contrast is too much contrast. There we go.
Yeah, it's not bad. So again, all our icons are there. That firmware update that we did basically added these. I know you can't really see them, but there's now a favorites and a ROM list. So you can go, let me at least show that. If I go into a folder, there's also our nice pictures, right?
Nice.
Oh, man.
Very
Cool.
nice.
Good,
Very
they're all
nice.
looking good. And then you can hit, I believe it's the Y. I think it's Y. Yeah. If you can't see it, yeah, it's hard to see. Basically, it has a little star next to the file name. And what that means is, oops, I went into the game, sorry. Oh, Jared, I opened Blaster Master.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
could
you
be,
did.
What could be better?
Ba-da-dum, ba-da-bum, 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 ba-da-dum, 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 ba-da-dum,
All right. All right, so I'm going to quit, and I'm going to try to back out. Select, sorry, I can't do it backwards. And then go into favorites. So there's a game list and a favorites, and if you go to this thing called favorites, it will show all those favorites that you had. Again, that's the firmware developers. They built this feature in there, that 1.6 update that we did in the very beginning. Sorry, super hard to see.
Cool.
And you get it, all your thumbnails in, all that kind of stuff. There you go. Yeah, you're good to go, y'all. That's everything. I think those are all the
Looks like
features.
you made a lot of progress.
Yes. One thing I can show you that's kind of cool, again, that y'all, just since y'all know me, I'll show you the Tadpole that, like, before I started writing features for it. And it's come a long way in the last like month, because y'all know I've been doing this on the side. All right, that's in. And then we'll go close this one. And we'll go, I think I had a bunch downloaded just in case like this didn't go well. I was like, well, I got a bunch of old versions. We'll use those. If I go to here, downloads, let me, shoot, I didn't grab like the original one. Don't keep talking. I'm gonna grab like one of the first ones that I played with. What's next for y'all? I told Jared, Mike, that I'm gonna get y'all a Data Frog. I'm gonna send y'all one from China. It takes like 3 or 4 weeks, so I gotta wait for like a sale to get down to.
Oh, well, thank
you,
good sir.
Chase.
But not today.
We'll
I don't care about
we'll
it.
upload all your
Yes.
cool changes.
Nice, yeah. So you get to use
Well,
my tools.
Use all of the cool thingamajigs with the
Mike,
thingamajigger.
how are the Angels doing?
Don't ask. Don't ask.
Braves won the NL East on Wednesday.
I saw.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
But they're the
It's,
best team in baseball this year, so
They are. They
Like the
really are. They've done well.
first team to clinch. Yeah, first team to clinch this year. I think they only got to win a few more games to get best record in baseball and get home field advantage to the playoffs.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what is going to happen to the Angels next year.
Oh, I think they're gonna sell.
Well, no, art is.
No, I don't mean sell the franchise.
not
I
sell
mean
the
sell
franchise,
all the players. Yeah, sell all the. I think Trout's gone at some point. I think.
Well, Trout signed a 5-year contract.
Right.
How
So
many
they got to
years ago was
trade.
that?
So they got to trade him.
Yeah, but his was ridiculous. It was like how many millions was that?